Okay.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello, hello. It's a rainy day here in Charleston.
Yeah. And to clarify for our boys and girls, you're parked. You're not driving
You
in.
are parked. Yes, you are parked.
Yeah. Shout out Karen and Wally and Catherine for providing this driveway that they didn't realize I was going to be at, but like here we are.
Yes, boys and girls should never text and drive nor Zoom and drive.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah, Zoom and drive. Ugh.
Okay.
Or FaceTime and drive. Yes.
All right. So we'll have our Q&A get it underway so Daniel can get back to where he's headed. So anyway, so we have some questions for you guys today. So let's get rolling. Our first question, we have a special Sunday coming up that we call Christ the King Sunday. In fact, it's the last Sunday in our church calendar. So what is Christ the King Sunday?
I like the way you said it earlier, Pastor Rebecca. Christ the King Sunday is like the New Year's Eve of the church, because it's the last Sunday before we start a new church year.
Yeah.
Which is what? Remind me of that word. Starts with an A.
Advent.
Boys and girls. It's Advent.
Apostles.
Close. Advent.
Fair enough.
So Christ the King Sunday is a day it's also like a season finale, as it were. It's a culmination of the whole year, church year. And what better way to end with Jesus as the star? Although Jesus is the star every Sunday, but Jesus it reminds us of the sovereignty of Jesus the Christ on that Sunday.
So we celebrate this. We go out with a huge celebration here. We celebrate Christ the King Sunday in a way at St. Matthew's that I hadn't seen at other churches until I got to St. Matthew's, which I think is really cool. We cram the entire church calendar, like all the seasons, like Advent, Christmas, Lent, or Easter, Pentecost. Like we cram the entire church calendar into one single service. And we recognize all the seasons. Like, why do we put the whole church year into one single Sunday?
Because for one Sunday out of the year, we want to forget that the church year is a marathon and not a sprint. So we like to just sprint through it all. You get like the Spark Notes version.
Mm-hmm.
It is really cool. I hadn't seen it, like you said, Rebecca. Pastor Rebecca. I hadn't seen it done that way ever in any of the other congregations that I've done. It's really awesome.
Well, so it's new to St. Matthew's too. I had seen it at a church. I had actually not the church I had served before, but a service I participated in. So I took the service and reworked it for the previous church that I had served, and it worked really well, and people seemed to like it. The reason I like it so much and introduced it to St. Matthew's is because it's a teaching service. A lot of people don't think about liturgical seasons. They don't think about Advent, Epiphany, Christmas, Lent, Easter, and the time after Pentecost and all those festival days. They may not even think about the different colors that are always changing on the paraments or our stoles or the banners that we have or the different celebrations we have throughout the year. But that service is a way to teach people who don't know, and to remind people who maybe have forgotten, and to draw attention to this story of the church, which is played out over the whole year through our liturgical calendar. Liturgical calendar is not the most important thing we're going to talk about at church, but it is important because it helps us tell the story of the Holy Scriptures and our rituals together as a church in worship.
Yeah.
I love the service. I think it's a great service.
And I had a thought when I got to experience it last year for the first time. When I experienced it, my thought in the midst of it was, we go through a lot of different, I guess, moods, if you will, or whatnot, different tones. Advent has a certain feel. It's exciting. Christmas is just really full of joy. And then we also have things like Lent, which is really somber and really low key, and then Easter is a huge celebration. And so through the highs and the lows of what we see in the church year, in every time and place, we're still pointing out that Christ reigns in all times and places. So we kind of talked about this question, and I think we have a consensus, but I'll add a little bit to it. So what is your favorite season of the church year? And I'll add why. Why is it your favorite season?
Yeah, I'm gonna start this before they steal my thunder. I'm gonna say Advent, and just I think for me it's the way the church looks. That you've got the Christmas tree and all that goes up. Just the songs, the hymns we get to sing. Like, so Advent to me is just so, I don't know, such a happy time for the church.
Absolutely. Advent is a time of watchful waiting. It's a time of anticipation, and anticipation is almost most times better than the actual event. Anticipation is wonderful. Mm-hmm. It's a new morning. It's the beginning of a church year. December, which is an amazing month. It's, as Daniel said, the Christmas tree, which is not really part of Advent, but it is part of that preparation of something that's to come. But those other things, but I love it, it's there. The other things that are there, those important symbols like the Advent wreath, which is a ring, an unending ring, which is made of evergreens, which is about eternal and everlasting life. And then you have the candles, that wonderful idea of the light. So you begin with the darkness, and you light one candle, and you light two candles, and you light three candles, and you light four candles. And by the time you've lit that fourth candle, you're closer to Christmas and closer to the coming of the light, capital L, light that no darkness can overcome. I love the symbolism and theology, and the music too. We often say, I don't like the Advent hymns. They're depressing. They're not depressing at all. They're fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And again, spoiler, I guess, I also like Advent, and I like Advent because it reminds us to have hope. And so some years are great, and so Advent's just a really great, exciting build up to Christmas. But then some years, and admittedly like this year, 2020 has been a rough year. And so when Advent can sort of be a season that says, it's okay if you're feeling down. It's okay if you've had disappointment. It's okay if you're sitting in a dark place. No matter where you are, there is room to have hope. I think it's kind of cool that we all got the blue memo, by the way.
I know. Look at this. And blue is the color of Advent.
Which is the color of Advent.
Amen. We didn't even plan that.
Gosh.
Pastor Rebecca, you're right about hope. I agree with you. And I will quote the distinguished author, Stephen King, who wrote, "Hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies."
So we're going to have a huge celebration on November 22nd, Christ the King. And then beginning November 29th, we're going to jump into our favorite season of...
Right. Those are good questions.
Right.
Pastor Rebecca. Thank you, Daniel. Please drive safely. Bye-bye.
Yeah, we'll see you guys.
Yeah.